Hello there and welcome back to my channel. And the last couple of videos were really fun and dealing with flowers, and they were really popular and a lot of people got a lot of joy from that one. And I did as well. I thought that the colours were so great, and it's definitely going to inspire me to do more of those flowers. And today we're going to have a go at portrait painting, one of my favourite subjects. And we've got a sitter, and that's Robert Fabry, my wife's brother, and he's very kindly volunteered to sit for a portrait today. Now, Robert's a very special person. He's an author, and he's a particularly expert in Vespasian Roman history. So he's completely marvellous at that, and he's a great writer. So if there's anyone else out there who's interested in finding a new author, Robert's the person, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that. So that's Robert Fabry.
Historical fiction.
Historical fiction. Well done, Robert. Yeah. It's good to be corrected. So we're going to have a go at the portrait, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get on with it and have a good time. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing to do is the drawing of it, and this is the crucial element of watercolour portraiture. If the drawing's good, then it's all good, but if the drawing's bad, then you just don't get a likeness. So first of all, I mark the top of the head, so I'll put that there, and then the bottom of the head, the chin. So this is my scale, so that's about 4 inches or so, 4 or 5 inches or so. Right, so I'll look at Robert carefully, and I'll draw like a rough oval shape, just to give me an idea of where I'm going. I'm looking at his head now, and his eyes are slightly above horizontal, or the centre of the face. So that's the centre. So his eyes are more that height. So I'll draw a line here, and it's really working out the proportions, and then the nose here, bottom of the nose here, mouth here. So that's trying to work out where roughly things are going. You've got to start somewhere, and you really just got to have a go at it, really. Right, let's try and put some features in. Not sure how well you can see this. So there's the bottom of the nose. Okay. Robert's very good at sitting. He's sitting incredibly still for me. He's taking his job very seriously, Robert.
I did well.
You do well. Okay. Now we have a little bit of a time problem today. Robert lives in Berlin, so he's going to be catching a flight in about an hour and a half, or leaving here in an hour and a half to catch his flight. So we've got to get it done relatively quickly. It's always good to have a bit of a time limit. So I'm just moving around everywhere. I don't want to focus on any one particular part of the face to begin with. I think it's always important to focus everywhere. There are so many different ideas of how to do a drawing, but I just keep it simple. I just look and I roughly work out what's happening, and that's it. So the people recognise people by the central part of the face. It's the distance between the two eyes, the distance between the nose and the mouth, and that is the area where people recognise. That is what the look of people is. So imagine the top of the ear. What I do for the ear is I look at the eyes and draw and imagine a horizontal line going that way, and then I can see that the ear is below the eyes slightly, so that's where the ear starts to come in. And then like the other side as well. So the ear is below the corner of the eye, so that's where the ear comes in that side. So these first moments, they're so important to getting a likeness. I think that's beginning to look like him. Right. And the shirt comes out. I guess my drawing's around about 5 minute long, something like that. However, I can't really tell myself because time goes differently when I'm actually painting. So you're constantly correcting things, really. You make a mark, but I don't rub out any marks because I find that a mistake is just as important as a correct line, because it gives you can judge, they give you hints to where the real mark is. find that really interesting with the drawing process. Okay, so something like that. So there's the drawing done, and there's a little bit of a leap of faith in it, because when it's a drawing like that, you can't really tell whether it's an exact representation of it. It's an interpretation, but I find I can't really tell that I'm correct. It's only when you start to put the paint in and all the different colours in that you can really tell whether I'm right in my drawing. So Robert's got a beard, which I haven't really put that in, but I'll paint that in rather than draw that in. But my main interest is trying to get these proportions correct all around this area. Okay, so now we're going to start the portrait, and I tend to start my portraits in the same way pretty much every time, with a wash of colour. So we've got the cerulean blue here. Wash my brush. We'll put some Cambrian red here. Always wash the brush between picking up the colours. And we're going to put a little bit of yellow ochre here. So pools of colour, always put pools of colour on. And a little bit of cadmium yellow pale, which we'll put in this one here. Right, so that's the basic colour scheme I've got here. So the first layer is going to be the cerulean blue. And we're going to pop this so over his hair. Robert's got a few flakes of grey in his hair, just a few, a few thousand. So we'll go over his hair as well, and then wash down into the rest of the face. That's a bit green, that one. Maybe I should wash the brush a bit more. I like it a little bit redder than that. There we go. That's better. Keep going down into there. So yeah, that's the first wash done. So it's it's almost like a rainbow of colours, which I quite like. And then we'll go into the scarf and the shirt, which I'm going to put a bit of cerulean blue down. And then into the shirt. There we go. So that's the first part down. So there's the first layer of paint down, and I've given a little dry with the hairdryer. And the next step is the important part, and I find that I want to go straight into the main features of it. You know, I could start painting the hair or bottom or the ear or something like that, but I don't want to do that because I want to get into the gritty part of trying to get the recognisable portrait going. So it's to work around this area here, and that's the part where the portrait's going to develop from. So let's have a look at Robert. So we're going to go straight into the side of the nose. So around here. So keep on changing the colour. Change my brush, slightly smaller brush. So going into the cerulean blues again. So you see this is quite a dramatic. I'm really trying to be as firm with as I can, not trying to sort of make the decisions later. I want to make the decisions now. You could, if you wanted to, be more careful and put more gentle washes on, but I don't think that's the right way to do it because you really want to just go for it. So softening a few edges. Because the light's coming from the top left, so that way. So that's why there's a shadow here. So just soften a few edges. So I'm trying to change the colours quite a lot. Then some of the colours I do see, but some of the colours I don't see. And I sort of make them up a bit. So you see how that's come together? That's quite nice. Maybe soften this line here a bit. So it's hard edges, soft edges, trying to get a whole range of different colours. And then a little bit of blue here, that would be nice. And soften that top edge. Good. Right, now take a nice long look. Now we're going to go into the eye now. A crucial element of portrait painting is the eye, the eyes. And I'm looking at one eye is just a fraction higher than the other eye. So those are the points that you've really got to notice. If you don't notice that, whether the eyes are horizontal or one is slightly that way, then that's going to make life very difficult. So Robert's eyes are, what did you say they are? Hazel, are they, Robert?
Hazel.
Yes. Hazel? There we go. I can tell what colours are. I don't always make it up. So hazel is a little bit of burnt umber and maybe a little bit of raw sienna. There's a little bit of blue on the outer part of Robert's eyes as well. Right, so let's put that in. So working out where things are going, so I would say it's about there. Yep. That's a really crucial mark, that. You need a bit of confidence to put that mark in. And then I'll put the other one in as well. So you see it's slightly lower. So let's go for there. So there's two very important marks put in. Soften the edges a bit. So with portraiture, it is about softening edges, and it's a whole range of different hard and soft edges in there. And I think that's an interesting part of it. Right, let's keep on looking at Robert. Okay. And then just trying to get the under parts of the eyelid. There we go. Maybe get that bit. The fingers are really useful for sort of rubbing out in watercolour. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That part there is such an important part. If you can get this right part, then you're on the home run. But if you don't get this part right, it's just a hellish process. So, right, let's keep going. So I've got a relatively small brush, so it's not a big portrait, so the brushes tend to be a little bit smaller. So then we go into the eyebrows. Now I'm going to go into cerulean blue here as the sort of base of the eyebrows. Robert's got very fine eyebrows, nice and bushy, not like me. I'm jealous, you see.
They need constant attention.
Constant attention. Look at the size of them. Very heroic almost. Let's get up that bit out a bit. There we go. And then the other side as well. So I'm going to do the base of it in cerulean blue. And then over the top of that, I'm thinking for later that I'm going to put the proper colours in. And there's a bit of red coming in here. How about that? Quite like that. Pick a bit off. Right, that's good. I like that. So I think you can really see now that this section here is where the look of Robert is. This section, the eyes and the nose. That's what Robert is, and all of us are like that really. That's the part which shows us as being who we are. Right. Now I'll work out a few more colours down the side. So Robert, so the side of the eyes here coming in. And I'll leave that part for the moment now and work some. I never like staying in one area too long because I think that's a mistake. You need to work on the whole thing if you can. So we'll return back to the nose a bit. And underneath the nose. So a little bit of alizarin crimson as well underneath there too. So the reddy, warmer colours. And we're going to put... I'm not... Colours although I do have an unusual range of colours for portraiture, colours are really personal taste, really. Then the most important thing to get right is the values, how light and dark things are. That overrides colour every time. Going well, I hope. Oh, it's just clean brush. Drop a bit of clean brush onto the brush and soften. Now for a little bit of blue, for variety, capturing this part here of the nose. Not many people have a chance to sit for portraits now. Have you ever sat for a portrait, Robert?
No.
First time. No. So it's not a common thing to happen to people, but it's a great thing to happen. And there's so much more satisfaction from my point of view and the sitter's point of view sitting from life. Sitting from a photograph is fine, but it just doesn't have that personal nature to it, that personal, I remember sitting for that portrait. And both people can remember it, the artist and the sitter. So that altogether a lot more satisfying. Right, so I'm coming down into Robert's mouth now. So alizarin crimson, a bit of red and a bit of blue. So we capture the top of the mouth first. So here. Robert's mouth is hiding under his moustache. That's the mouth starting to go in. So it is of one similar colour, but you can see I'm trying to vary it. I don't want to paint one colour. Now for the lower lip. So there's a little bit of a warmer colour, less blue. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in it. That colour. Then change the colour again. And it darkens off at the edge. Here. With alizarin crimson on the edge coming here. Okay, so the next part is to sort of, we've done the features of the face now. Now we've got to fill in the values of the rest of the skin. So not the detailed part, sort of the broader areas. Bringing this down. A bit redder here maybe. So filling in the skin. Yeah, that's interesting. So trying to work out the values underneath the chin. I'll soften this because that's going to be beard. Every brush mark in a portrait is important, and much more than any other type of painting. Right, we're working along now to the darker tones in the side of the face, which give the rounded effect to the picture. Now it's different from painting. With this, it's different from painting my girls, my daughters, because Robert's a man. I can make them darker and more dramatic. Whereas sometimes putting dark marks on a young woman, it can be a little bit too much. So we're going to try and give Robert a little bit more depth in the shadows. Now going down the side of the face. It's quite a blue contrast, bluish shade, because that's the shaded area, and I tend to do shaded areas bluer. So one of the reasons I paint from life, and the most important part, as opposed to photographs, is that I'm looking at a subject which is correct, and the colours are right, the values are right, the shapes are right. When you photograph things, that's not true. Everything is incorrect. So you're putting yourself in a very difficult position from the word go. You'll find that portrait painting is a very intense thing, and it is intense, but that's part of the pleasure of it, really. It really makes you feel alive when you do a portrait. Underneath the chin, bluer value here. So the beard's about to come in now. So I'm getting my little brush out now. See, it's quite small, so you can see that's my thumb there, so you can see it's quite a small brush. And I'm going to start putting the darker values in, especially underneath the eyelid. This part here, that's a really important one to pop in. That starts to give it real shape. See the difference that made? Just those two small marks, that made a huge difference to the whole portrait. Much better. And then lined here, here. Trying to create the warmth in the corner of the eyes. This part here, quite like that to be quite warm. Very good. I feel I've captured his likeness already, which is the biggest relief, really. There's a lot of expectancy with portraits, and the sitter's hoping that it's going to go well, and it's my job to try and make it go well. So the difference between painting a young person and an older person, not that you're old, Robert, well, prime of life, is that you could be a bit rougher with it. The young person's their skin is so smooth, and I don't paint it always smooth, but it's got to be a little bit rougher than a young person's skin. So now the pupils coming in, so put that in there. I try not to be. There's a balance between accurate with paint and inaccurate with paint, and I don't want to be too perfect. I'm not interested in being too perfect with it. Sometimes it's nice to be a little bit free with it and necessarily make mistakes, not mistakes, but trying to not be like a photograph. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Right, again I'm trying to create a sort of older look in Robert, so not too smooth. What do you think, Tanya?
Yeah, very good, except I think that's more Robert 40 years ago.
40 years ago, right, I'm going to roughen him up a bit.
Yeah. Pre-children.
Pre-children, it's the children that does it to you. Right, I'm going to have a go at the beard now, or the moustache, and that's going to be blue. So again, cerulean blue as the base of it. Isn't that interesting? So we'll have, and then mix it up with a bit of brown, like the variation. Yeah, don't want that, that's good. Yeah, I like that. That's really fun. So a darker patch here. Yeah. I think beards are really interesting things to paint, and moustaches. It's surprising the colours you use in it. You don't have to be traditional and paint exactly what you see. So this will improve with the last layers. And remember, the last layers, I think, the last little touches of paint I find them so exciting. They're the part that's really going to make it look like the sitter. So interesting colours there. Really interesting colours, like that. And then his beard goes up the side. So we've got about 30 minutes to finish this portrait before Robert has to leave to the airport. So there's a little bit of pressure on.
I've got to make my sandwiches as well.
And make his sandwiches for the airport, which is possibly the most important thing that you can do when flying. Okay, so we'll carry on. And we're trying to get the sort of, trying to rough it up a bit now for Robert. Colours up there. And the other side. That's quite interesting. That part there. Trying to get that darkness into this side of the face. Right, get the ear in. There's a sort of warm, there's a warmness to it actually, less cold than it was. So I'm going to use these colours, they're sort of yellows and reds to the side of the ear. Okay, let's get that in. Never want to overcomplicate the ear. I always like painting the ear in as simply as I can because I don't want the attention to go to the ear. I want it to go to the face. His eyebrows. Yeah, that's good. I like the way at the end you could see the blue really coming in. And the other side. Yeah. You've got blue eyebrows, Robert.
Good.
Very modern of you. In the face, so you've got quite a larger line right here, which is good. Right here, it's really quite dark. And it goes down into here. So I'll leave that I won't soften that. Actually, I might soften it a little bit that side, but not the other side. So I'm not trying to capture everything in the portrait. I think it's really important to leave a little bit of mystery in there, but just focus on the values. Corners of the eye. That was good, like that. Bring that up, tap it down. And slowly, what the magical part of portrait painting is, slowly, the figure comes out and you start to see the subject for the first time in the image. Right here. And maybe soften it slightly here, but not the other side. There's a lot of choices between what you soften and what you don't soften. So this part is really important. So the nostrils coming in here. That was amazing. Let's see the effect of that. That was great. And then the sort of darkness coming around here. So this is the stage now where we're putting these small marks in, which are going to make such a difference. So that's the other nostril. More ruddy, redder colour in here. So that was good because that was a definite, stronger mark. So that's going to age him a bit. Sad. There we go. Yeah, so you can see in the portrait that it's going from warm to light, warm to cool, warm to cool, warm to cool. It's constantly changing. The blue parts counterbalance the warmth of the picture. We're going to go down into the neck now. It is warmer down there. Okay, and then head back to the ear Now that's a bit drier. So again, as I say, constantly going from one section, one part to the next. I'm not going to try and paint in the ear detailed at all, because that is not interesting to me. And then maybe a bit there like that. And that's good enough for me. It shows it's an ear without actually doing any detail to it. And then the other side, so put the ear come on the other side. I like the composition of portraits where I see both ears when it, so I wouldn't want it if this ear disappeared. So I'll careful look, and then change the colour again to a warmer colour, and that's the other ear in. Nice and simple, maybe fade it out a bit at the end. See a bit of dry brush on it. Now let's counter it. It's quite blue there now, so let's counteract it with a bit of brown. Coming in. Yes, I like that. That worked out really well. I'm really pleased with that part. You do get parts that you think, oh, that was just right. And when you find that, when you found you've done it just right, try to leave it. If you start painting over things, you'll lose that wonderful thing that you found, and it will just disappear on you. You're starting to look like yourself now, Robert. I'm happy to say. That's good. So trying to get the layers of the sort of combed effect of his hair. That slightly darker part coming in here. You never forget sitting for a portrait. It's just something that stays with you forever. Warmer colour on the bottom lip. Right there. So maybe I'll put a bit of blue, cerulean blue on the edge. So what I'm trying to do there is sort of counteract the reds. I don't want it to be too red. There's a darker value at the bottom which I've got to try and put in now here. The beard. Put a darker bit there, darker bit here. So I'm going to be putting white paint on some of the beard soon. Hair at the back. Okay, and keep on moving around the picture. That mark there. That was quite fun. I enjoyed that mark. Sort of warmth going down here. So warm, cold colours. That's always a relief for the artist when you think, oh, that's all right, that does look like him. And we're going to add a few highlights. So the most important highlight is the catch light of the eyes. So quite thickish, just so that really makes it fly out. There's one, and there's the other. So we're going to try and add some colour to the beard now. So some blues and some whites here. Give it a sense of the beard and the individual hairs coming in. Underneath as well. So contrasting between the darker bits underneath. It's quite light here. So So these are the little marks at the end which are really going to tell. And see the variety they've done of marks on the beard. I haven't made them all the same. I hope everyone watching this can find someone who can sit for them. And maybe their children. You might have to bribe them a bit though. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for photorealism. It's really an impression of Robert, which I think makes it more fun anyway. So we're going to do the cravat now, and so it's alizarin crimson and a little bit of ultramarine blue, and we're going to do it very simply. So a nice colour coming in here. Yep, that's all right. Darker stuff now. So a bit of colour coming in there. Nice and quick. That's the cravat. It's good. I don't want to do too much of that because I want this to be what's called a vignette. So just a little bit of clothing and just to give it a bit of balance. And then the shirt comes in here. Nice and simple. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's okay. I don't think I need to do much more to that. I might add a few more pencil marks at the top, just to give the sense of the hair coming in. So the pencil, I had a few questions about people with my pencil marks, how I put some pencil marks in at the end. And I don't know anyone else who does it, but I just like it. It's just something about it that I like. We all have our little personal things, and this is something that I like. I've reached the point now where I'm constantly saying to myself, if I did more to it, will I make it better? And the answer at the moment is no. At least I can't see a way of making it better. James Potter 2024. Right, Robert, here it is. Come and have a look at it.
That's
Good.
fantastic.
It's really fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really fun. Great.
I'm very impressed.
Here's the picture all finished up. I did do one or two things on it after you last saw it. I put this blue mark down the side here, which it was just a simple mark, but I thought that really balanced the picture nicely. Because of the redness around here, I thought that the blue was going to sort of counterbalance that. So I thought that worked out nicely. I did darken the eyes slightly as well, but overall I'm really pleased with the picture, and there's a great sense of relief from me on this because it did look so much like him, so that makes me feel really good as well. So overall, I really like that picture. I thought it was a really nice go at a guy painting a man, and the beard was fun too. So yeah, I'm really pleased, and I hope you liked it as well. Give me a thumbs up and maybe a comment. All the comments and thumbs up really do help the channel and spread the word. So that would be great if you could do that. And I look forward to seeing you next time, and hopefully we'll be out in the landscape soon. The weather is getting better now. Anyway, bye-bye.